Hey, good evening. It's about 8:20 p.m. Central Mountain Time on Saturday, January 30th, 2021. It's been a few weeks, or maybe a couple of months I've been on here. Sorry, it's been crazy times. Of course, been living under a rock on Mars with your eyes closed and your fingers in your ears. You probably don't know that a lot of stuff has gone down, and I'm not going to talk about it all in this video. That's too much, but I want to say that what's happened with this last week with the whole GameStop and Wall Street, I think is hopefully we're going to do something about this, and it's not going to be a repeat of the 1987 Wall Street mess, the late 90s, early 2000s bubble.com burst, or the 2008 or whatever it was, 2007, 2008 financial issue, because we had to do something because people were about to enter one whole year under this pandemic. A lot of people have lost their jobs. My brother lost his job. He had to get another job somewhere else. A lot of other people have actually had to uh, do things uh, they never thought they'd do. I mean, we're about to hit another Great Depression, and it's so funny that we're still defending our government, at least, and other people are still trying to defend the people, the companies, the corporations that got us into this whole financial mess years and years ago. And I'm 42 now, and I'd have to say, I'm a Democrat socialist. Uh, And as someone this age, it's happy. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that a lot of younger people are starting to fight back. And someone who was born, during the middle, toward the end of the Cold War, and saw its collapse when I was at that right age, in which you start becoming interested in world events and politics. It was an eye opener. I never really sat down and looked at or studied stuff. I just believed everything people told me about how communism, socialism is bad. But it's as I started to uh, take summer jobs and work, in college and professionally, I realized that capitalism is the biggest problem we have. And I think what the problem is that if you look at when this country, well, when America was founded, uh, a lot of problems carried over from Europe that should have been left there. And the whole fiefdom and all this stuff, it should have just stayed over there, and we should have done something differently here. But the problem is we didn't know. So it's kind of, you're always having to deal with that person who doesn't want to start anew. They just want to carry over something else that happened, and then they want to tweak it a little bit. And of course, we had to have slavery, the slave trade, and it just messed up centuries with so many people believing that if they gave 110, 15%, if they worked a little longer, worked a little harder, didn't ask for too much, that eventually their rewards would be given to them in tenfold. And it didn't happen. It hasn't happened. I mean, if people would actually go back and study what happened in the post World War II era, they would realize that the only reason that manufacturing in this country exploded the way it did was because so many European countries were devastated by the events of World War II that a lot of the countries did not have literally their factories were demolished during the air raids. So who are you going to do business with? You're going to wait years for a European country to build itself back up, or you're going to do business with a company that's already going, and those companies were here in America. A lot of people relished in that. I mean, it was a great boom. It was a great economic time. But if you know anything, nothing lasts forever. And that's what angers me so much about baby boomers. People always ask, "Why do you hate, why do you like baby boomers so much?" I don't like them. That it's not like I don't like them. It's just that they still want to act like they're in their heyday. I mean, our education system is still preparing people for a workforce that is no longer in existence. And that's the crazy part. And I think that's what sucks is, I was part of the Gen X uh, people, and I think we were told to go to college and get student loans and all this crap because I think it was just so they wouldn't have to worry about us for about a decade or so. And then, well, what happens is you got all these people, like what happened in the 90s was companies realized that they could hire 22, 23, 24 year olds at like two-thirds or sometimes half of what they're having to pay the experienced people. So that caused the problem. And in my lifetime, I worked for three major corporations, and I'm going to say what they are right now. This is not just like, kid stuff. This is stuff for full time. I worked for CNHI, which is a major newspaper company that's based out of, I think, if I remember correctly, it was Birmingham, Alabama. And it wasn't a great company to work for. I wouldn't work for them ever again because there's so much shady things going on. Let me give you, for instance, they would give you sick days. You'd have 5 paid sick days for a 6 month period, but you didn't use them. I mean, literally, if you were damn near death, you did not use them. I mean, and that's part of the reason I quit that job was, well, there's a lot of reason I quit that job was that I think I was sick 3 times within a 15-month period. And they were just, gone nuts. And also, there's all of other stuff. They couldn't get my health insurance figured out. They were taking my money, my premiums, but I didn't have coverage. And another thing, it was in Southwest Georgia, which is basically uh, podunk, racist society. Everyone was very, very racist and bigoted, and everyone was out to hurt each other. There was no, it wasn't a very nice town to live in. It definitely wasn't a great town to work in if you were a newspaper reporter. And, my other job I worked for Dollar Thrifty Automotive Group. I worked for that about 15 years ago. And, well, now it was more like 16, 17 years ago. And, that's really when I really started really changing because I was dealing with customer service and making car reservations for people, and any idiot who thought they had a Discover or a Visa Mastercard thought they basically had every right in the world to tell me how to do my job, and I was trying to help people, and you got somebody who is stranded in Toledo, Ohio, and they're frantic and they want to rent a car, but some idiot standing over my head saying, "You've been on this phone call 5 seconds too long. You've been on this phone call for a minute, man. We got other calls coming in." Yes, we got other calls coming in. But this person needs their car. This person called now, ahead of all these other idiots who, well, not idiots, but the customers. But it was like, get them off the phone, handle this other call. If you can't make the car reservation within an hour, a minute, get them off the phone. And unfortunately, part of the reason people were stranded was that there was just so much other people, well, not a lot of other people at the car rental center were making wrong reservations. They were booking them the wrong times, the wrong dates, the wrong airports, the wrong locations. I mean, it was like, and people would say Hartsfield, Atlanta Airport. Somebody would have them at the Hartford, Connecticut Airport. It's and it. They wouldn't even bother to take that extra few seconds to ask, "Oh, is that Atlanta Hartsfield, or is that Hartford, Connecticut?" So, and I worked at a call center in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Then I got transferred to the international desk, which was in Tulsa, and I thought, oh my God, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna step up, and I'm gonna work in the big, huge skyscrapers along the Broken Arrow Expressway. And I get there, and it's like this little two-story building, like something out of Office Space, and you're crammed in this one place, and you got windows, but all you can see is like all the business people at their skyscrapers and the traffic from the interstate expressway freeway. And I thought, you know what, this isn't worth it. We're committing fraud. We're telling people they have a car reservation, and we're not giving them the right information. We're screwing them over. And we're telling people who work in the car centers, call centers, don't worry about that. Just get your quotes, get your stats. Get your stats. Okay, you make a car reservation, you make it for the wrong time, you make it for the wrong day, you make it for the wrong location. Somebody's going to be out. Somebody's going to be screwed over. And I don't know. I never made bad, wrong reservations, and but I don't know if the company did anything about them. I know that there was some big, huge hullabaloo over 10, 15 years ago, shortly after I left, which is, I guess, good. But another place I worked at was a company. It's no longer around. It was Community Publishers Incorporated, and Jim Walton, one of the Walton kids, he was a big investor in that. He was pretty much the chairman, CEO, whatever. And they were doing a lot of shady things. A lot of things I won't get into because I don't want to get sued. But the thing that I didn't agree with was that they were really milking people in the communities of money to get advertising. I mean, it was just nuts, some of the things they would do. They were changing so many policies. People would want to take out a classified ad, and they were telling people, push the colored classifieds. Push, push, push. And offer them something for like $20 when you can turn around and offer it to them for like $7.50. And it just got to the point, I feel, that people in the communities got so sick and tired of people coming up to them saying, okay, you're going to give us $300 for this ad. Okay. And then they later, okay, we need another $450 for this ad. It's on running a different special section. We got so many special sections we have coming out of our ass. I mean, literally every fucking month there was a special section, and it was always about something stupid too. Um, and a lot of this stuff wasn't really necessary. At this time, this was about 2012, 2013, and they were still trying to push this crap. And with social media, you don't really need classifieds. You don't really need all this other junk because it's right there on the internet. So, I mean, it was like people were literally just being told they're going to get money for this newspaper or else, you know, or else. And the that's what's killing newspapers nowadays is that you had so many people who were unprepared for the internet. I remember some Judd Apatow, who's a filmmaker, who's done, 40-Year-Old Virgin. He said when he tried to uh, boost awareness of his TV show Freaks and Geeks, NBC wouldn't let him, do stuff on the internet. They had to let the internet didn't exist, and that's what it was like working for all these newspaper people was that they had to let the internet didn't exist, and that could have been the thing there. And that's what's going on with these people here and the whole GameStop thing is that I mean I'm glad they did it. I mean, be very mindful about what happens, on the internet because it can come back and it can come back hard. And I think a lot of young people who are younger than me, between the ages of 18 and I don't know 40, they've lived through some pretty rough economic times. It's so funny. I think about it, but growing up, I mean, the 80s were kind of a rough time, but you know, my parents didn't lose their jobs, or their houses. My friends and everyone else didn't lose their houses, but I know people who were losing their houses, and the banks were screwing them over. I mean, my ex, her daughter, rented a house, and they kept paying the rent. And these guys, the landlord, I guess what he was doing, he was going out leasing these houses and not paying the mortgages or whatever on them, but he was collecting the money, and this was going on, and this happened here, it happened there, it happened there. Everybody was doing this. So you got people who were living in a time in which every time they turned around, something bad happened, and yet our government did not do a damn thing about it. And now all people can bitch and crap about this Keystone Pipe thing because, oh, it's taking the jobs from people. And I've seen so much crap all over the internet about how they're picking up these old timers, these guys who talk like this, and they talk real slow, and they talk real soft, and they act like they don't know anything, and they worked up in Wyoming on a pipeline near Lumpkin, and I don't know if there's a pipeline near Lumpkin, but anyway, that's the way, and that kind of that bullshit is appealing to like middle America because no one understands that you can take these people and you can give them jobs doing something else. You know what? The funniest thing that amazes me is there's always these people acting like, well, we're going to be out of the job. I mean, why are people settling for one profession? I mean, my brother, he's having to work at a pharmacy now, CVS, and we tell people there's no shame in flipping burgers, and then we shame them for flipping burgers. I mean, I don't get it. I think people are sick and tired of it. People are sick and tired of being told, you know, that they're not a good person if they work a minimum wage job. Sometimes that's all they can afford I mean, sometimes that's all they can find. They're going to college. They're going to whatever. Even if you got a technical job, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of competition out there because you're dealing with these old timers who are holding on to their jobs like they're gold. And they are gold because they don't got a good retirement package anymore. So, something's going to give. So, I know I was rambling here. I meant to totally do this video a totally different way, and I might try to do another video tomorrow or sometime or later on in a few days. But I was just thinking about this, and anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.